Islam. It is still September the 3rd, 2021. So I want to finish what I experienced yesterday. Because once again, I gave testimony about how Imani-Bey and I, Rhonda Arrington-Bey, we have never ever implied we want to know anyone that spoke Spanish personally. In the South, when we would see a Mexican or those that could be from El Salvador or South America, you speak to them, they have an accent. Oh, where are you from? I'm from Mexico. Okay, cool. And that's sort of, gracias, that sort of thing. You go about your business. You didn't think nothing of it. At least for me, never in my life have I ever been around Mexicans, those that speak from El Salvador, South America, walking around saying werewolf, or all of a sudden my tablet started acting up. When I came to Annapolis, I noticed these Spanish speakers would be more than basic engagement. Like I said, a Spanish speaking accent always around the room, along with the black Negro African American accent around the room talking. And this is in connection to the United States Navy, the military. Okay, so I speak very little Spanish. And Monty do too. I'm pretty sure he knows the basic gracias, de nada, that sort of thing. When I came to Annapolis, Maryland, I didn't understand what this attraction these Spanish speaking had, where they wanted to forcefully engage with me and my son, Imani-Bey. Now, we are naturalized beings. We're not robots. We're not mixed. We are not mixed with a dog. We're not mixed with an ape. We're not mixed with other animals. And so what we have inside of us is straight from Allah. We have our inheritance. We are rich and wealthy in our inheritance. We are soulful beings, okay? We are not chattel property. We are not classified as chattel property. We are not animals. We are not beasts. So I didn't understand why so many citizens or people in Annapolis would look at me or say, your son, we need it, especially those that speak Spanish. As they say, speak Spanish or say the number 3 or say brother, either the black Negro, okay, or African American, not even, definitely. I mean, say I need it. We need it. Literally sound like animals. I couldn't understand why. We've been here since, we moved here at the end of May of 2016. Been here since then. Never in my life I experienced anything. Even the pale skin would say, I gotta remember to include them, say 3, the number 3. Literally, never in my life I experienced such things. Once again, we are soulful beings. We have a covenant with the Most High, okay? We have not been written out the book of life, Islam. We have not been written out the book of life, okay? So we try as Moorish Americans to marry or obligate with other Moors who have not been written out the book of life, Islam. Because we are not animals. We are not beasts. We are naturalized beings. We are soulful beings. Okay? I have never seen or heard Moorish Americans who know who they are look at a black Negro or African American, Mexican, Spanish speaking, pale skin and say, we need it. I never heard it or stalked them. So I couldn't understand in Annapolis, Maryland, why this was happening. Just like, this is part 2. Why these people in Annapolis, Maryland would say racist. Because I have a different definition of what race is that correlates what racism is. And once again, as a lawful being, naturalized, I know everyone has the right to believe, practice their religion as they want to when they are in constitutional laws. when they are in the constitutional fold, according to Amendment 1 of the Bill of Rights and Section 1 of the 13th Amendment with 20 sections. So if someone say that they do not like black Negroes, that would be the term for them, or African American. It's all the same according to constitutional law. And I think I'm better than they are. They have the right to feel that way. I can say I would never befriend an African American, black Negro. I have the right to feel that way and implement it the best way I know how. Okay? As a soulful being who have birthrights and inheritance, I have a right to say I would never befriend an African American black Negro at all. I would never have a baby by it. I would never date it. I have the right to feel that way because I'm in constitutional law. But I do not have the right, an authoritative position, to be violent, to infringe on their rights, and be discriminative towards them. I have the right to say I would never befriend someone from the continent of Africa. Like I've noticed some of the Africans here in Annapolis, Maryland, too, behave odd, like too engaging, using the word money, all right? Using the word money and then try to engage somehow verbally with me, because a lot of times I get testimony about these people in Annapolis, Maryland, saying that they keep saying that they paid for something, like they paid for somebody. Now, there has been suggestion that China and other foreign countries own everything pretty much on this landmass. The people are seen as animals and beasts. Those that are not in natural law, those are not in the constitutional fold. So how can a slave, okay, chattel property, that includes the military who have not been naturalized, own anything? So I couldn't understand that either. Also, pale skins, saying 3. I have the right to say I would never befriend someone who says that they're white, who says that they are white and don't have a nationality. I have the right as a Moorish American to say, I think I'm better than you. I have birthrights and inheritance that you don't have. And I don't want to mix my inheritance and my line with you. I have the right to feel that way, but I do not have the right to infringe on their rights or be discriminative or be violent. So once again, it's interesting to know that the Navy and the Army is here at Annapolis, and you have so many pedestrians or people walking around saying they paid for something. And yet its suggestion is a strong suggestion that foreigners own almost everything on this landmass in reference to the United States corporation. These are corporate citizens, they're not naturalized citizens. They're corporate. That means if they're corporate citizens, they are not in natural law, and they are seen as property. You have to be naturalized in natural laws, the Constitution of 1787, the 13th Amendment with 20 sections, and all 4 of Abraham Lincoln's proclamations to be out of that corporation, out of that jurisdiction. And you have to implement it. You have to know. That means you have rights and not privileges. So when I hear United States corporate citizens, property, saying how they need something, like animals, they behaving and acting like an animal, like a beast. It gives substance to those who suggest that everything on this landmass, on the United United States corporation is owned by a foreign entity. Whether it's the president that hasn't been naturalized, the military, the Navy, the Army that hasn't been naturalized, and the citizens. Not only do something foreign own them, but they have mixed them with dogs, apes, and other form of animal DNA through different sciences. And so they can never be truly considered a part of the human family. And then they treat them and expect for them to behave as such. So yesterday, and as a spiritual experience, going back to the Spanish speaking, whom I have never implied I want to know them or get to know them. Because if they are Hispanic, if they have not been naturalized under laws of freedom, then they are property. They are property. That means, and if they have been naturalized and have not been naturalized properly, that means when they go to be naturalized to get their green card, the government leaves out the 13th Amendment with 20 sections. Because the 13th Amendment with 20 sections includes Section 19. Section 19 says all men are free. Okay? So that means they're not truly naturalized under laws of freedom. And if they are mixed, if they speak in the words werewolf, they think they're a werewolf, or they're an experiment used to control technology with their mind, whatever how they do it. You already know they're slaves, they're property, they're animals. Not all. Just like not all African American, not all Spanish speaking, not all pale skin. But those who I'm talking about, they know exactly who I'm talking about, and their government their government has them classified and know exactly what I'm talking about. They could never be a part of the human family, and they do not have what Moorish Americans have. They don't have birthrights. They don't have inheritance. They do not have the wealth that we have. That's why you have, I noticed, so many of them run around saying we need it. You would never see Moorish Americans, soulful beings, look at them and look and say we need it. Never. That I've seen. Why would we? They don't have anything that we have that we need. In reference to our inheritance and birthrights. So getting back to spirituality. So once again, I never in my life ever dealt with Spanish speaking on any formal level in this manner. So last night, I've given testimony after testimony after testimony, hearing Spanish speaking outside and around the room, along with the black Negro, also pale skin, but predominantly the black Negro accent and the Spanish speaking. Like there's an accent, like a mic in the room, and sometimes they say military. Like they're watching, observing the room, and it's interesting because I've heard the citizens speak about being in someone's room, okay, or sit down. Hear them saying sit down like animals, like they're gonna make or force someone to sit down, or hear them say we're gonna take it, like they are planning to take something from somebody, literally like an animal. Okay, once again, if they are United States corporation and they are outside of natural law, and not only that, their government knows that they are animals. They have made experiments. This is possibly why some of them behave in certain manners in that way. So they're not considered to be civilized. They cannot behave but to a certain extent of civilization, because they are mixed or intertwined with some form of beast or animal. So I had this visual of this Spanish speaking, who I've seen the Spanish speaking male a lot of times. A lot of times these Spanish speaking, once again, they look from Mexico, El Salvador, or South America. I don't know what it is. One time, one was bold enough to lie and said they knew Imani. Was actually like attacking my saying I'm gonna F this light. I'm gonna F this light, and it was like, oh, it's in. Oh, I'm gonna come. This is spiritually, all right? Because this is dealing with demonology. DEMONOLGY. All right. My son Imani we sleep in the same bed at American Student State. He sleeps on one end, I sleep on the other. But when you are among an animal, beast, it don't matter. So once again, and as this was happening, Islam, as this was happening, I was hearing the black Negro female and male accents in the room, like they trying to monitor or have some authority in the room, as though like they have some like power in the room. Islam. And it's interesting because this black female just walked by. She looked pregnant, and I thought of the word. A lot of these citizens, like animals, they keep saying they did it. So they're not arguing that they are animals or beasts. When they say they're referring to Moors, so they say he did it. They don't argue. They don't argue that they are animals and that they're beasts. Not all of them. This is some. They just blame. They just say he did it. They did it. He did it. They did it. So they don't argue. There's no argument that they know that they are animal and beast. There's something wrong with them. Something wrong with them. They just say they did it. Like, I mean, literally, like they can't